Right, guys, so we have the first two group challenges of the year. We've done them before, but I really want to try and emphasise them at the start of the year, just to bring home exactly what they mean, what they do, and why they're really important for the whole year. You should be doing these all year round, right? These are things that you should be always emphasising. The two things that should always be at the forefront of your head every day, whether you're training, you're not training. Well, I'm trying to build up muscle, I'm trying to lose fat, well, I'm trying to just stay maintenance, whatever it is. The first one is your protein challenge. We need to be hitting that protein number. Ladies, we need to be hitting 100 grams of protein a day. Fellas, we need to be hitting 150 grams of protein a day. Now, that number is actually still relatively low, but I'm trying to give you a target that's realistic. It's low because your protein requirements should be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if I weigh 200 pounds, right, now that's my lean weight, stripped off all my body fat. What's my potentially lean weight? And if I have 1 gram per pound of body weight, that means if I'm 200 pounds, I should be eating 200 grams of protein per day. 200 grams is a lot of protein, right? Again, for the ladies, if you're 10 stone, that's 140 pounds. That's 140 grams of protein per day. As you age, this protein requirement actually goes up to about 1.1 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. It goes up because your hormones, your sex hormones and your anabolic hormones, the hormones that help you build muscle, decline. Especially, again, ladies, menopause, boom, those hormones just stop. Men, testosterone has a gradual decline as you age over 35, 40, testosterone starts to drop. Remember, testosterone, ladies, you have testosterone as well, and when your hormones were balanced, you had more testosterone than you had estrogen. So testosterone is a vital hormone for men and women for repairing and building muscle tissue. When those hormones decline, the ability to synthesize protein in the muscle, that's repair muscle protein, goes up because the anabolic hormones decline. So we need to feed the body with more protein to make sure it's there. There's a couple of things we have to think about when we talk about protein. Is one is the digestibility of the protein, and two, the absorbability of the protein, and what we call the biological value of the protein, right? So I want to try and explain this to you so you understand this. There's 20 amino acids, right, that make up the protein in your body. 9 of those are essential, right? The other 11 are non-essential. Non-essential means that your body will make them up with other things. It'll make them up from carbohydrates, it'll make them up from whatever other components floating around, it'll make them up. The 9 essential you need to eat, you need to consume. You will not get them unless you actually physically eat those amino acids. And those amino acids are vital for muscle repair, hormonal function, for your immune system, they make up the heart, the lungs, the liver, everything. They make up everything. So you need those. They are vitally important for healing, for anything. You need those. Now, where are we going to get those 9 essential? Those 9 essential are only found in animal products, right? This is why you'll never hear me bumming up a vegetarian or vegan diet. They're very poor quality for protein, and remember, we need protein, so it's vitally important. Now, when we talk about biological value, I want you to understand what this means. The biological value means how many of those 20 amino acids and 9 essential amino acids are part of the food that you're eating. Now, when the biological value scale was done, it was done based on a whole egg, because a whole egg is the only thing that has all 20 amino acids and all 9 essential amino acids. Because if you think about it, a whole egg is a full entity, it's a full sort of creature, so it's got everything in it. All right, then we go down the biological value by, like, steak would be about 82, fish would be 78, chicken would be 72. So because some of them have some of the 9 amino acids but not all of them. Like beef might have 6 of them, chicken might have 6 but a different 6, that kind of thing. So a whole egg is basically what we call 100 on the biological value chart, and everything downgrades from there on. Now, whey protein. Now, I know some of you don't like the whey protein because it upsets the tummy. Guys, the reason why whey protein upsets your tummy is because you're using a whey concentrate. Here in the gym, they sell a whey concentrate. Now, if you get a whey isolate, what you're doing is you're removing all the lactose. You're isolating the amino acid, so there's no lactose in it, so you'll not get that upset tummy. The beef protein isn't as good as the whey protein, and here's the reason why. When we talk about the biological value, again, it's about what the ratio of amino acids, but also the ratio of the amino acids that lead to muscle building. For example, the ones that trigger hypertrophy, which is what we do when we're lifting weights. So we're lifting weights, when we're not building muscle in the gym, we're breaking muscle tissue down, so we're nipping the muscle fibers. The amino acids that you take then trigger a hypertrophic or hypertrophy response, which means repair and grow and adapt to be stronger to the stress that you were just placed on it. One of the amino acids that does that specifically, that triggers that response, is an amino acid called leucine. Right, so the amount of leucine that you consume will mean that you're going to get more of that muscle growth response. Now remember, ladies especially, when I say muscle growth, I'm not talking about being Arnold Schwarzenegger, big muscles. I mean just the growth point of the trigger of repairing those muscle fibers. All right. So we talk about an egg being 100 in the biological value. Well, whey protein is actually 110 because of the amount of leucine that's been delivered into the muscle group. All right, so I would put a whey protein above nearly natural food, except you don't want to because the digestibility factor changes. So the digestibility factor means when if I eat a steak, I burn calories just in breaking down that steak because there's a thermogenic threshold of it, right? So it's hard to get the protein out of a steak or eggs or chicken or fish. So I have to digest it, and that digestion burns calories as a metabolic effect. Whey protein, for all intents and purposes, is pre-digested because it's like baby formula. It's a powder and it goes in straight into a shake. So when you drink that, it's going straight into your system, which is why it's very, very good for after your workouts. All right, it's excellent for after your workout because you're delivering that amino acids, especially that leucine, straight into your system. Now again, ladies, the beef's okay, but the beef's only about 82 points on the biological chart, bioavailability chart, because what they do is they mimic the amino acid ratio of beef. There's no beef in the beef. There's no animal product in the beef at all. In fact, there's nothing natural in the beef. What they do is they synthesize the amino acid ratio that's in beef, but it's still still a lesser quality than your whey protein. Does that make sense? Good. So that's why we want to emphasize that. So we want to be hitting that number. So on your NutriCheck app every day, you just going to type in, I don't care about anything else, don't care about the calories, for this, the purpose of this. And what I want to see is your protein. So every time you eat protein, you put it in, add it up to the end of the day, 100. If you're missing any, if you're only getting about 60, 70, add in the whey protein, put in the protein shake, 2 scoops at a time. All right, we want to make sure we're delivering a lot of amino acids into those muscles so we're strong and big and healthy, good immune system, all that kind of stuff. All right, so that's challenge number 1. When you're doing your NutriCheck app, you'll see a wee bar down the side. You have calories and you have something that says at the top could be carbs, fat, whatever. If you press that at the top, you can change that to protein, so it'll count your protein down the side, it'll count for each meal, and then it'll add up at the bottom. We want to hit that 100 grams every day. Guys, protein is like oil in the engine, right? No matter how much petrol we put in the car, no matter how far or how little we drive the car, the oil level should always be the same, because that's what's keeping that engine working, lubricated and ticking over and moving. Your protein is really important here, guys, not just for muscle repair, feeling good and feeling strong, metabolism, but for growing old. And it is the number 1 thing that you need to try and keep everything working, the heart, the lungs repaired, all that kind of stuff, your hair, your nails, your skin. You are made up of amino acids, you are made up of protein. That's what you are. So you need to make sure that that's working, right? That's challenge number 1. That starts today. Get that on point today, all of you. There's no excuses, there's no exceptions. That is the number 1 rule of just trying to be healthy, that target. All right, the next one is your step challenge. Remember, it's all well and good us coming in the gym and trying to build muscle, and I'll work on your zone 2 or your zone 5, that high intensity stuff that we add in once a week, once a month. But we need to try and get more zone 1 and zone 2. The reasons why we need to get the zone 1 and zone 2 is basically because of mitochondrial health. Mitochondria is the energy factory that lives within the cell. Every cell in your body has to convert energy, and has to convert energy to produce ATP. ATP is adenylyl triphosphate. ATP is basically the energy that every cell in your body uses. It will either get that from carbohydrates or it'll get it from fats through the Krebs cycle. But it uses either fats or carbs to convert those calories or energy sources into ATP for the cell to use. The health, the ability for the mitochondria to do that will determine how long you live, basically. And it's no joke. It's like keeping, if you think about every cell in your body has a wee factory that produces energy, the more cells you have by doing building muscle tissue, because all those muscle tissues have cells. The more cells you have, the more mitochondria you have. The more mitochondria you have, the more energy production you have. So basically, death is all those factories going out. Right, there's less factories, the lights go out. We want to keep loads of factories, but we want the efficiency of those factories to be very, very good. So that's where your zone 2, your walking comes in. Just keeps that mitochondria health going really, really well. So we should be hitting about 10,000 steps per day. This is not, guys, here's what I want you to think about though. It's not purposeful exercise. It's not deliberately going out for a walk, although I want you to do that. It's steps, right? Your steps should be counted when you're not exercising. Remember, we've got what's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's what this is, right? Studies will show people who move more live longer, not necessarily exercise. So they did a cohort of study of people, and they got people who work in a sedentary job all day, an office job, for example. They don't move, but they go to the gym 6 days a week for an hour and train rigorously. So they're very into their health and their fitness. 6 days a week they go to the gym and they really work out really hard. They took people in who go to the gym 2 times a week, just go and just for movement, but they're very active and their step count was between 10,000 and 15,000 steps per day. Those people were leaner, healthier, and lived longer than the other ones. Alright, it's very important that we move and we keep that moving, especially ladies as we go into that menopausal phase where the mood starts to drop, our lifestyle and our activity starts to change. We don't move as much, we sit around drinking tea and chatting a wee bit more than we used to in the past. You know what I mean? Just there's less to do because just that's the way life is and that's the way your life has become. You're less active, you're doing less, so we need to get that step count up. Remember, it's not necessarily the steps you do when you go out walking, that's exercise, it's the movement that we generate. Alright, so those 2 things we want to do. So get yourself a step, a watch, get you whatever, and post up those steps at the end of the day, every day. That challenge starts today. Get a move on, guys. I'll be keeping on top of this fees, alright? Have a good day.